it's the English Simmer here, and James Turner, formerly known as the Sim Supply, created a survey for the Sims community to take. I actually don't think this is accurate because I, as the English Simmer, did not take it, but 15,000 of you responded, and I have been seeing just like snippets of this across Twitter, and let me tell you, people are up in arms about the results. So I thought I would unknowingly, without like looking at the results or watching James's video, do a reaction to what all of you said when it comes to which Sims 4 packs to buy in 2022. I will actually link this video down below. The survey has now been closed, unfortunately, but he made a full video like looking at the statistics and things. I just watched the introduction in which James actually asked me, what packs do you think are gonna be number one? But for best kit, I think the community have probably voted for Pastel Pop Kit. My personal favorite though is Ancient Arrivals. Best stuff pack, I think the community may have chosen Laundry Day. Controversial. I hated Laundry Day at the time that it got voted. I feel like I have unpopular opinions in the Sims 4 community. I feel like I want the opposite of what everyone else wants. For my favorite, I actually put Paranormal Stuff. Game packs, I put Parenthood as the community top. Mine is personally Werewolves. Expansion pack, I put Seasons probably for the favorite of the community. I have quite a few favorite expansions. I think Get Together, City Living, Cottage Living, Eco Lifestyle are kind of all up there for me personally. Kits. So in tier C, we have Fashion Street Kit, which is the highest out of these, which I'm glad about. I like Fashion Street Kit. I haven't used it as much as I thought I would. Carnival Streetwear, again, I kind of understand this. I quite like the assets. However, it's definitely not as usable as other creator sim kits that we've got. Throwback Fit, exactly the same. It wasn't my favorite. I think we have far too many like activity based fitness things in our game. Modern's Memoir, yes, it belongs in C. I am sorry to this man, quite literally. And Bust the Dust, yes, you deserve to be the bottom. Very broken, and I'm fairly sure still hasn't been fixed. Even if it has been fixed, I definitely still know that you can earn like far too much money through the Dust Bunnies. Honestly, Ancient Arrivals being in B tier, no. I knew I wasn't going to agree with these results. I also personally really like Moonlight Chic. Of course, I prefer the Creator Sim kits over Build and Buy kits. I use them more. I basically live in Creator Sim and gameplay. I don't think Country Kitchen should be that high. I liked it on its release, but then when we got Cottage Living, I was like, this feels like very similar, even though I like the assets. And it also wasn't even like a third of a stuff pack, which is what kits are kind of sold as. I am honestly kind of shocked that Lord Campers is up here. I feel like looking at James's face, James is also surprised. I feel like this came out and then everyone forgot about it. I think it's probably up there because it has a little bit of gameplay element to it. Don't tell me that the Clutter Kit is also in A. Oh my word. Desert Lux is not my favorite. But again, I never really build outdoor spaces. What? I am a plant mum, and I once again am kind of gobsmacked that this is like up there. I like blooming rooms, but it doesn't come with like that much stuff. And then number one, everyday clutter. No. I don't agree. Yes, it's quite usable, but to me, it was a lot of boxes and also didn't have enough variation on any of the swatches for me personally. And I feel like there's clutter that looks like the clutter that we have in this from other packs. Oh, I disagree. How did I know? Oh my word, look at how many people own Bust the Dust. So it feels definitely as if like the build mode are owned way more than the creator sim. Oh, Desert Lux. I was like, damn, why is that so high? It was the one that they gave for free to the community. This is really cool data to collect. Oop, we already got a little bit of a spoiler. James is gonna be so happy that this is in last place when it comes to stuff packs. James, I'm sorry if I do you dirty on any of these paused frames. My First Pet stuff, I mean, yeah, I'm not surprised that that is the bottom of stuff packs. Definitely the most controversial for all the correct reasons. Half of this isn't even accessible, like if you don't have cats and dogs, because it's a lot of like cats and dogs clothing. And then also a lot of like the creator sim minus like the hairs. The stuff that comes with it is just like base game recolors, and the build and buy mode felt like it was kind of left over from cats and dogs. I genuinely thought that it would be a little bit higher because I feel like I quite like the gameplay. I quite like the fact that you can spread a disease around your town. I like having the little critters. I just personally don't think it should have been sold separately. I think it should have been part of cats and dogs. Luxury Party, honestly, I probably would have put this in last place. Yes, I used the fountains, but I'm fairly sure we even got one of those in My Wedding Stories, which I would not recommend anyone to still buy My Wedding Stories. If you go back and look at the assets that came in Luxury Party, there's barely anything. I am a spooky stuff sympathizer. I absolutely love spooky stuff. Yes, I have seasons. Yes, some of the items are carried over 2 seasons, which I do not like. They basically like reproduce them into a bigger DLC, but I like the activities that come with it. Don't get me wrong, pumpkin carving is so broken, and I really hope that the team look at that. I don't think this deserves to be as low. Where is cool kitchen stuff? Builders, you are ruining it for me. Cool kitchen should be on the bottom of this pile. If I was Abby Lee Miller, this would be completely different. Perfect patio, I'm shocked that this isn't lower because we got hot tubs with the 20th anniversary, and I know it was like a different looking hot tub. We have a couple of options in this one, but like that's the main gameplay feature of this pack, and you can now get it for free in 2022. Romantic Garden, not gonna lie, the only thing I've ever heard anyone talk about when it comes to Romantic Garden is the hairstyles. That's all anyone likes. Again, I think builders are bumping this up a little bit. I sound like I have things against builders. I don't. I just think that there's a much bigger portion of people who only build in The Sims 4 because it's one of the things that isn't broken and isn't as buggy as the rest of it, and also is a very, very strong build mode. Unlucky 13 should be at the bottom. I'm not even going to talk about it. You lot know how I feel about Cool Kitchen. Fitness stuff, again, I feel like this personally would have been lower for me. I like the rock climbing, but I feel like we have so many like fitness wear. However, I do use it a fair amount. Bowling night, I'm actually shocked at. Like, I know bowling takes a bit too long in The Sims 4. It's kind of got the dine out effect in that sense, but I always had it in my mind that Simmers like doing something alternative to like going out clubbing. So I'm kind of shocked at that one. Backyard stuff, I personally don't like that much. It's got a little bit of like family gameplay in the slip and slide, but I just think that we could have had a slip and slide with seasons. And backyard stuff just kind of feels like irrelevant to me these days. Moschino, that is actually kind of shocking to me. I actually really like Moschino. Don't get me wrong, Creator Sim isn't my favorite. Did we get a career with Moschino, or did it come with the base game like update before it? But I really like the assets that we get for photography and like how it updated photography. I was expecting that to maybe be like up near like top 5. Vintage Glamour, I haven't played with recently. I always feel like butlers are really buggy. I feel as if they don't do anything that you wanted them to do. I quite like some of the assets. This smoking jacket in particular is one of my favorite assets, as are the glasses that we get. Gameplay wise, no, I wouldn't have put Vintage Glamour like up that high. Movie Hangout, yes, justice for Movie Hangout. Honestly, before stuff packs like got their redemption arc, like after Moschino, Movie Hangout was solidly in my top spot. I always have my Sims hang out together and watch films. I just think it's a very cute thing. I love the like cuddling and like flirting on a sofa whilst you're watching. Kids room stuff, I mean, I knew this was going to be quite high. I feel like the community really like familial gameplay. It's not Generations, don't get me wrong, but it's got that like element of Generations. Like, it gives kids a bit more to do. I mean, it's kind of a shame that we needed a stuff pack for that. I do think it's quite nice to give kids more personality. I also really like the card trading game like Void Critters. I kind of wish that they would update that. Kind of wish that anyone of any age could do it. Hello, I have seen so many 30-year-olds get back into Pokemon trading cards. Toddler being above kids' room is honestly kind of shocking. James's face. I'm just thinking about the 2D ball pit. It's all I can see in my mind. This honestly isn't my favorite just because toddler playdates. Like, I hate the parent having to know the toddler to then set up a toddler playdate. It's why I never use it. And also, toddlers don't really leave the house all that much. So whilst yes, this like gets your toddler socializing if you want it to, none of these assets are in the base game. So therefore, they're like never in a park unless you add them in and stuff. Nifty Knitting honestly is in my personal top 3. So therefore, 7.5, number 4, I can deal with that. I flippin' love Plopsy. I think it's one of the best things that we've ever received in a stuff pack. This is definitely part of the stuff pack renaissance where things started getting a lot better for me. Laundry Day, honestly thought that was gonna be number 1. Not my favorite personally. I don't really like doing chores in The Sims 4. I know that's an unpopular opinion. Hey, it won the community vote. Like, of course, people wanted to see Laundry Day, but I do like build and buy mode, and I also like create a sim, so we have to take that into consideration. Paranormal, I would have put number 1 personally on my list, as you all know. I think the gameplay is there, although it is a little bit broken at the minute. I just tried to play it in my short lifespan legacy challenge, and oh my word, gigs are so broken. That definitely needs looking into, honestly, because it's just kind of slightly unplayable at the minute. Although create a sim, gorgeous, build and buy mode, stunning, really big pack, and then Tiny Living is number 1, which honestly kind of surprising to me. I felt like when this came out, a lot of people had complaints about how it didn't really offer anything new in the sense that because we didn't get like bunk beds, people were like, oh, are these like Murphy beds really as like space saving as this pack is like living it up to be? Because technically it's still like a double bed, although I agree that I really like the multifunctional assets that we got. Again, Create a Sim is gorgeous, but again, even if they had like fold up tables, like you'd still have to put those tables down in a gameplay sense, would still use the amount of space. I feel like the idea was there for this one, but then there was kind of just restrictions on like how the game works and how Sims are rooted and things like that kind of stop it from being actual tiny living. However, I also feel like people get a lot of use out of this in the sense that if they are doing like a rags to riches or a challenge of that nature, they get like the bills discount, and therefore it makes a challenge a little bit easier. So I can see why this is number 1. Also not surprising to me that the most people own that one. Again, it kind of comes with the territory of Sims 4 being really good in build mode. Which worlds are the best? Magnolia Promenade, yeah, absolutely. But 2, okay. I can see why Magnolia Promenade is like lower. If you don't know, this came with like Get to Work. It's basically a shopping district. It's pretty much unusable. There's like 4 lots. Del Sol Valley, I'm actually kind of shocked by. I get that there wasn't like a lot of lots in there, but Del Sol Valley is literally one of my like starters. I just love the suburb area of Del Sol Valley. Forgotten Hollow, I get from like a gameplay perspective. Like I probably would only move there if I was a paranormal, so a werewolf or a vampire. Granite Falls being that high is kind of surprising to me. Strangerville honestly would be so much higher if they just gave us the option to turn off the story mode like from the get-go. If you didn't have Sims just like wandering around at all times and you didn't have to complete the story to get rid of them, this would be so much higher. Selva Dorada being that high is very surprising as well, but it is a gorgeous world. If I have a Sim who's like super into photography, I love sending them to Selva Dorada. Is Moonwood Mill your favorite, or are we just saying that because James helped build Moonwood Mill and therefore we all thought, you know what, James is going to be reading these results? No, I do like the world. However, I'm shocked that this has been rated so high, whereas Glimmerbrook and Forgotten Hollow are so low, because I feel like they kind of have the same amount of lots and stuff. Tartosa is going to carry my wedding stories. I can already tell. Where's the city? Oh, they get their own because they're special. Mount Komorebi also isn't surprising. Yes, I don't like Snowy Escape from a gameplay gameplay perspective, I think it's very frustrating when you're trying to play the gameplay of Snowy Escape, and I also think it's very restrictive. However, the world is visually stunning, and also the like build is incredible. Brindleton Bay, I understand, again, probably one of my go-to starters. I definitely would say San Myshuno is probably my favorite. I love the diversity of it. I love that you can live in an apartment. I do wish that it had more slots for like actually building a house. Sulani, again, a stunning world. Definitely not everyone's favorite pack, but jeez, that is shocking to me. Windenburg being number one. I think it's number one. Maybe it's not, but that's not surprising. It's one of the biggest. Henford on Bagley, I wouldn't have put that as number one. I actually feel as if Henford is like quite dark to play in number one. It also isn't the most interesting world to me. I definitely probably would have put like Sulani or San Myshuno as my personal number one. I feel like also some of the lots are like either too big or too small. Journey to Batu, number 12, bottom of the list, not surprising in the slightest. Kind of flopped on the Star Wars side of things. It kind of flopped on the Sims side of things. Yeah, not the strongest. I feel like both of these things were held back because they tried to work together and it just felt very restrictive. So this is super interesting. I can't get rid of the YouTube thing, I don't think, which is slightly annoying, but it has like a rating. The blue is gameplay, the brown is build mode, the green is creator sim, and then the world is in red. So James basically averaged all of these and then gave it its score by like adding all of those up. Creator sim getting 4.1 is honestly a little bit shocking to me. Gameplay being the lowest, definitely agree with that one. It got 0 by 1,228 and then 10 from 374. Build mode honestly got the most amount of votes for the 10. Understandable, it kind of has like a steampunk-ish vibe. World the worst, and also creator sim did really badly as well. I'm kind of shocked by like how positive these kind of are. I wasn't expecting Journey to be being that high up. Dine Out, number 11. I feel as if everyone doesn't like this because of the glitches that it has. If dining out didn't take a whole day within my Sims world, if people didn't like piss their pants whilst they were waiting for their food, if my waiters just didn't forget about me, there's so many different variations of like bugs and glitches that can happen with Dine Out, so like I get it. Outdoor Retreat, again, number 10. I kind of agree with that. I would have probably put Dine Out higher up. I love getting my Sims out of the house. I love going to restaurants for birthdays, on dates. There's so many like opportunities for me to personally use restaurants, and even with the bugs and glitches, I do still use it. I think there's a lot that could be done when it comes to owning restaurants. I would love for our Sims to have like jobs, being a waiter or being a chef. Obviously we already have a chef, but like a physical one. I kind of agree with this one. I don't use it all that often. It's not one of my favorite packs. Spa Day, number 9. I quite like Spa Day, but I also understand this. It definitely feels like one of the more lackluster sort of packs in The Sims 4. I feel like there's not like too much gameplay, even with the refresh that we got for it. Realm of Magic being number 8. See, this is so sad to me because I love Realm of Magic, but I get it. I don't think I would put it much higher. I would maybe possibly nudge it up to a 7. The gameplay just needed to be stronger. I feel like I agree when everyone says the gameplay just feels like cheats. I just feel like Realm of Magic could be so much better than what it is. Vampires being this low, honestly a sin. I definitely think that pack deserves more. I would honestly put Vampires in my top 3, which I know occults aren't everyone's favorites. It's kind of something that you have to be interested in, but I think Vampires is just a very good all-round game pack, and I think it added a lot. Strangeville, again, I really like. I maybe would have bumped this up to 5 or 4. I do wish that you could just turn it off. I wish that you didn't have to do the story all the time. I really enjoy the story, but I get this because once you've done it once, you kind of don't want to do it again for a little while. However, I do actually, again, really love Creator Sim and build mode when it comes to Strangeville, and I definitely feel like that's a little bit lower. No. No, stop it. Who The hell? What the? I told you that Tartosa was gonna carry it. World 7.8? Nah, no. My loyalties no longer lie with the Sims community. Gameplay shouldn't even be a 3.6. It is quite literally, I don't know if it's still unusable, but this pack had so many things wrong with it. Oh my word. Like, I don't even think build and buy mode was that strong. I definitely don't think Create a Sim was like 7.5. I love the cultural aspect of Create a Sim. However, you obviously have the flip side of that conversation of, well, should all of this like cultural diversity be included in only paid for things, which no, I definitely think we should have got some for free when we kind of got like the recolors of the stuff before My Wedding Stories dropped, although it did only get like barely any 8, 9s or 10s, which thank you, but jeez. Jungle Adventures being this high up is shocking to me. I feel like I see so many negative reactions to Jungle Adventure. I'm surprised this didn't suffer like the same fate as Strangerville in the fact that like once you've done it once, it kind of feels like you've played it, so like you won't go back unless you have a sim who really calls for it. I do think a lot of the negativity came from the fact that World Adventures for The Sims 3 was so big and also like so interactive when it came to the tombs, and Jungle Adventure just didn't have that. Parenthood being number 3 is kind of shocking. I thought that was gonna be the favorite. I get it. I feel honestly maybe would have put it even lower personally. I don't really use personality values all that much. I kind of wish it was more about like the kids and teens rather than just the parents. Justice for Werewolves. I'm so glad that this is number 2. I do think that the gameplay is up there. Again, Vampires was my favorite game pack until Werewolves came out. So much better than like Realm of Magic in my opinion, because you have those like stories that you can tell and you can make Sims feel different from one another. It was strong across all categories. No. I'm out. This is me. I'm retiring. I am clearly not in touch with the community anymore. I personally hate Dream Home Decorator. I will fully stand by that. I have said it from the get-go. Buggy as heck for me. Like, there's a lot of things that I just can't do when it comes to the career. And it's also, its main gameplay is just kind of a zhuzhing up of build mode, which is what we've already had from the base game. Like, I get that it's a career now. You could quite literally tell the story of this gameplay without having this pack. You could have an interior decorator. You could name them in your phone as like self-employed interior decorator. You could send them around to someone's house, turn on free build mode, give yourself like an arbitrary amount of money that you could use, and then just do it. Oh no, I'm sick to the back teeth of it. Gameplay 6.7. I get build mode. Builders, I have a bone to pick with you. It's all I'm saying. I like the build mode, but also, I don't know, is it unfair that these things don't have a world? Like, I know technically the world can like bring you up, but the world can also shatter all of your hopes and dreams. I mean, I think we all know how I feel about this. There's so many things. That would be almost bottom of the list for me. Dying Out would be probably like mid-range. Realm of Magic I'd probably bump up a little bit. Spa Day I'd probably bump up a little bit. Parenthood I would probably put like middle of the road. Get to Work, honestly, I feel like this gets a bad rep because it was the first expansion. If you actually go back and play it, like it actually did come with a like quite a large amount of gameplay, but I understand the careers aren't for everyone, and also it kind of suffers the same fate in once you've done them once, they are very similar. I also do feel like it's just very buggy right now. I honestly love the shop system though. I definitely feel like the world dragged this one down. Magnolia Promenade. I don't even think that should have even been considered a world. I see it as an add-on for base game. I know it still comes with like Get to Work. Aliens, I honestly want an Alien refresh. Get Famous, no, I absolutely don't agree with this. I think Get Famous, personally for me, is one thing that actually adds so much. It works across so many different types of Sims, so many stories that you want to tell. I think gameplay should be higher on this one. I also think the world should be higher. Del Sol Valley does not deserve to be a 5.0. Almost one of my top expansion packs. I would put it like 4 or 5. Actually expands on the game, which is what I personally believe an expansion pack should do. I can play it over and over. What? How? These are all quite high scores as well. Like, I really was expecting that to be higher. I love the hobbies that came with it. Like, DJing is so much fun to me. I love getting to go to parties. I use the club system so often. Again, that is an expansion pack get together that actually expands the game for me. Wow. I am genuinely a little bit shocked. Island living, it would probably be like my 6 or 7. Everything that kind of happens in it happens within the world, but I genuinely think that the world is so gorgeous. I really like the career. I also really love like the community aspect of island living. I genuinely think that gameplay would be much higher if mermaids actually got like a lot of different things to do. Like if they had a skill tree and stuff like that. Eco lifestyle, I definitely would put this in my top 3. I genuinely think this may be my second favorite expansion. Yes, like the dumpsters don't really work outside of this world because they don't really fill up if you place them in any other world, which is very, very annoying. I am a sucker for hobbies though, so like the candle making, I quite like the careers that came with this. The NPC voting isn't my favorite, but I really love the community like lots that we have. It's one of my most used ones. I love it when I play like a rags to riches. Discover University, I just don't think it's the strongest expansion pack for me. I think it's very, very lackluster. I like a couple of the skills that came with it. I think robotics is really cool. I also like debate, but that's pretty much about it. Kind of feels like a slog, and yeah, I just think like this trailer made it feel so much better than what we actually got. Okay. I was expecting cats and dogs to be higher. On my personal list, it would be lower. I think gameplay in cats and dogs is honestly atrocious. I really like build mode, so I agree with the 7.6. I maybe even would put that a little bit higher. The vet career, I don't do that often, and also when I did, it was like slightly a little bit buggy. City living, I would probably bump it up a little bit. I think Creator Sim deserves a bigger score than that. I still to this day go back and use a lot of Creator Sim assets that came with city living. I love all of the townies that came with it. I love living in the city. See, this one is hard because I do see people being like, oh, well, what do you actually get in like city living? But I use karaoke all the time. I love visiting the markets. I do think that it needs a refresh. Like a lot of the markets are like the same sort of things over and over again. I definitely also feel as if it is quite buggy when it comes to like the markets. I definitely wouldn't put Snowy Escape this high. The gameplay is so restrictive to me. Build mode, I honestly would put up more, but everything is tied to like the mountain. Everything is tied to the world. Like, yes, I know you can go on holiday there, but I don't always feel like going on holiday to Mount Komorebi, and I kind of wish that you could do things outside of the world itself. High school years, absolutely would not put this high. Gameplay, be a 5.7 for me. I would definitely knock one off there. Creator Sim, I think, is very good. Build mode, I don't agree with. I would knock a couple of points off. And I just don't think it gave me like really what I wanted for like a high school pack. Like, I just feel like there were so many missed opportunities in it. Season Cottage Living is number 1. Okay, I can agree with that. I wouldn't rank Seasons this high. Honestly, I don't like really Creator Sim. I don't think it's the strongest Creator Sim we have. I quite like its build mode. I definitely wouldn't put gameplay that high. I don't feel like Seasons comes with that much gameplay. Like, I know that you can like build snowmen and you can play with sprinklers. I just think snowball fights and like, I just feel like the activities aren't great. Which maybe that's my Sims 3 brain talking. I think I would enjoy Seasons more personally if we had those like community park things, like the festivals. I absolutely love them. Without having a world as well, I think more could have been done with the gameplay. I would not rank its gameplay as 8.6. Cottage Living, I can agree with this. It's probably, honestly, one of the better expansions for The Sims 4. I said it when it came out. I still agree to this day. I really genuinely enjoy it. I think the errands are very fun. I feel like the world is very nice, even though it definitely has its flaws for me. I love build mode. I love Creator Sim. Oh my word, this video is currently longer than James's actual video. I'm so glad that not all of this like got spoiled for me. I definitely know that a lot of people either carried the same opinions of me or like their favorites weren't as high as they were expecting them to be. So it just goes to show you the thing that we've always said about The Sims 4 when it comes to like what you think is like worth it or not. Really just depends on how you play the game, where you put your value for money, be it like build mode, be it like a new world, your gameplay, your creator sim. There's so many different like assets and ways of playing the game that even when I'm doing like overviews of new packs, like I can physically only say like what is in it and my personal opinion on that and whether I'm gonna get use out of it. And like I can try to think like, oh, would like the community, would I feel like they would get use out of this specific thing? And I guess it's just all drawing your own opinions on your playstyle. And we all know that we as a community love to give our opinions when we can. So big thank you to James for doing this. This was actually really interesting to see. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I was defending some whilst absolutely slating others. So I would love to know if you agree with me, if you agree with the survey, if you don't agree with either, what do you think is the better like expansion or stuff pack, whatever it may be. Thank you all so much for tuning in and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.